Scarlet Day stood in front of the mirror in her cabin's ensuite bathroom. She was combing out her hair, newly dyed in a pale lavender she'd always wanted but had never dared to go for. Until now. Now her band, the Scarlet Begonias, had its first album out. It was starting to get radio play, and she was standing in a very nice suite aboard a luxurious, uber-exclusive cruise ship. Her legs felt slightly wobbly, not quite used to the gentle sway of the ship. And there were butterflies in her stomach, although that had nothing to do with the water. This was a huge opportunity for the Begonias. 10 days on a cruise ship bound for the Galapagos Islands, completely comped in exchange for providing the entertainment, and to an all-sapphic audience at that. The women aboard this ship were exactly the ones the Begonias needed to reach, and if they loved her, it could be the break the Begonias had been waiting for. Scarlet did her vocal warm-ups, studying herself in the mirror, making sure not a hair was out of place. The rest of the band was off exploring the ship, but Scarlet couldn't relax until everything was just right for their first performance. She'd spent hours selecting the set list, wanting to showcase their range while still keeping things upbeat and danceable. Raina, the Begonias' bass player, told her to just go with their usual. But the usual wasn't good enough. Not for this. A knock on the cabin door startled her out of key. "It's open," she called, expecting one of her bandmates. Instead, Nat Butler stepped into the bathroom doorway, a smile on her face, and her long, dark hair flowing free. "Hey, Scar. I just wanted to say hi. How you feeling?" Scarlet felt a rush of nerves at the sight of the Nat Butler standing in her cabin. No matter how many times they worked together, never mind the fact that they'd gone out for beers and late-night meals after long sessions in the recording studio, she wasn't sure she'd ever totally get over the fact that Nat Butler was talking to her. "I'm good," Scarlet said, finishing her primping and coming out to the main room. "Just getting warmed up." Nat nodded, her eyes scanning the cabin. "This place is nice, huh? I would have killed for a gig like this when I was starting out." "It's amazing," Scarlet said. "We're really lucky to have your connections." Nat had retired from performing a couple years ago and started a record label, and the Begonias were one of the first bands she signed. She'd become so much more than just a studio head to them, though, and she was the one who found this cruise and convinced the director, Zoe Bellflower, that it needed a sapphic alt-rock band. "Happy to help." Nat gave her shoulder a squeeze. "Break a leg out there. Christy and I will be front row center." Nat left, and Scarlet checked the time. 45 minutes till showtime. She shed the silk robe she'd been wearing to keep her dress neat. It was a flowy royal purple lace that made her hair pop, and it had sewn-in shorts, because she was not about to catch a gust of wind and flash her audience on their very first night. She slipped into a pair of strappy sandals, took a deep breath, and then headed up on deck for sound check. The ship hadn't left the dock yet. The last of the passengers were boarding now, but the Begonias had come aboard with the rest of the crew to get settled in. The plan was to start the concert just after the captain announced they were setting sail. Even at the dock, the air was salty smelling, and Scarlet could hear seagulls and waves in surround sound as soon as she emerged on the deck.